All right, welcome to the Adrian Ross Show. Have my first in-house guest, my former teammate, Javon Langford. How you doing?
What's going on, man?
Been a long time since I've seen him.
That's right.
All the way back to Spinney Field in Cincinnati, Ohio. Well, my name's Adrian Ross, from Sacramento, California, by way of San Jose. Went to Elk Grove High School, graduated from Colorado State, went on to play linebacker, all the linebacker spots at Cincinnati Bengals for 6 years. Tore my ACL. Now I'm what?
No, I was telling the whole damn story.
Yeah,
man.
I'm telling the story. Just on this one, I got the first guest, so I'm gonna give the background because before I have a lot of new people to my page, and they ask me questions on who I am, whatever. So I don't take for granted that people know who the hell I am. So this is the Adrian Ross Show. That's a little background on me. Now I am an NFL agent, and I decided to do these shows because I don't like a lot of stuff that's going on with the athletes. A lot of lack of knowledge is being given to them, I feel. There's a lot of people taking advantage of them. There's a lot of people that actually care about them and think they're giving them advice, but it's actually not the right advice for them and what they're going to be dealing with. So that's what the show has came about from, and love that I have my former teammate here that has a lot of insight. So first, Javon, why don't you go ahead and tell the people who you are, where you got drafted from, and tell them the background on who you are as a football player.
Right. My name again is Javon Langford. 43 years old. I come out of Washington, D.C., Southeast Washington, D.C., born and raised. I took the liking to football probably in my 10th grade, something like that in life, and I began to play, and it was solely to get out of the environment and predicament that I was in. So I used that as motivation to take me out of the circumstance that I was in. So I was fortunate enough to get a scholarship to attend Oklahoma State University. I did 3 years down there, and then I entered into the draft, the 96 draft, and I was drafted in the 4th round.
So let's stop right there, because I know for players, that's really common now. You go back to, what's that, 97, 96.
Yeah.
There weren't a lot of people coming out as juniors.
No.
So what was that like? Did you get any kickback? Did you get any backlash on, you're leaving college early, like how we keep hearing now?
You know what's funny? Yeah, I think I did. Well, actually, I had to, hey, I cut it like it is. Look, I was kind of blackballed. This thing is a chain of command deal. We got sometimes you got some coaches that care, but what do you care about? What do you care about me? Your only interaction with me, you would have never known me unless I played on your football field, came your office. So first and foremost, that's what I have to understand and deal with. So, give me that question again. So yeah, that's the next topic of concussions that we'll talk about, how you get easy to get engaged into a conversation and you forget it. You see what I mean? But I don't use that as a crutch. We're moving on day by day. But give it to me again, man.
So back in college when you came out, and you came out early as a junior.
Okay,
there's senior ball, there's bowl games, because I remember then certain bowl games all of a sudden allow people to have juniors in them.
Yeah, well, it's this time now. What you see is this thing it's a lot of money, man, involved in that. It's a lot of money. Where we was becoming on that end, we was kind of, I would say, the front runners, the trendsetter. If you look at this 20 and 30 year, 20-something year gap, that we've been living in. I mean, between the music, the sports, and the fashion, everything's changed. We was some of the front runners that are coming into that. So, when you look and you see now and today, you see everything is exploited off of the ethic, the work ethic that we're gonna have, coming from those backgrounds that we come from. But so I see the importance of keeping a kid in school for that extra year when he is considered eligible for the draft after 3 years. Well, if I can get in 1 year, if I could have came out of high school knowing that I could kick some ass, from what I have built up inside, And what I had built up inside as a motivator is that money. You see what I mean? And you don't come from it. So that explains a lot why you would put a system on a child to be in school for 4 years. On 3, he's eligible to go into the draft. So yeah, I did catch some flack. Okay, and it was one of my coaches that put me in the office and said that, hey, you know, your stock is not well enough, this and that, whatever. We need to keep you here. So basically, you need to keep all the good players there to keep you with a job. It's a business, and that's what it is. You know, I came to school to play professional football. I didn't come there for education. And I think if you sit a lot of us down, ex or current, and see the track records of us, a lot of us don't come to go to school unless it's really showed in a society that education is very important to the neighborhoods and the areas that we do come from. Until I stop seeing schools getting shut down and things like that in those areas where they go and pick them from to come play football, then I'll think different of it then, you know?
So you mentioned school and the money being the motivation for you to push, and a lot of others like you that come from where you come from all over the land. So what you're saying is you felt that you saw the scholarship and playing the game as a means to get to the money.
The scholarship, this is a game, man. This is all a mind manipulating game. They're playing games with us off of the lack of understanding of, first of all, who we are, okay? And then the understanding of having some self-dignity, self-worth, self-pride to say, this is who I am. Now, if I'm going to come to that school, now, when I've done that back then, not knowing that I have enough people, you know, the population to say majority rules, what we have is democracy in this country, so majority rules, and we stand for and say that, hey, I'm not coming unless we get some type of compensation or whatever, because once you get into this environment, you realize it's a job. Right. Now, maybe I would have been one of those disgruntled players if I didn't make it to the NFL, but a lot of us are blindsided with that. So we go on and continuously move on until we're faced with now looking back at it, you have time to slow everything down, look at it and say, this was all a hustle. So why not should I come in and say, okay, a parent comes up from a lineage of money and understanding money and how to utilize and everything like that. And I come from not having that, a first generation of probably, if I get drafted, having a few zeros behind my, you know, my ones or whatever. But this thing is a lack of understanding.
So right there. So when you say lack of knowledge coming out, what was the first thing you had to do when you found out that you knew you were going to enter the draft? Like, how do you navigate getting to the National Football League?
How do you navigate into the NFL?
Did they come and talk to you, or is it something that
the scouts?
The NFL.
I meet with my agent. You have an agent, okay? It's like this.
How do you go about getting an agent?
How do I go about getting an agent? I don't care. The first minute I walk on that campus, and I'm telling you, I'm speaking for a lot of my beliefs so that I can relate to them when I see them. I understand the whole pimping path that we're going in, all right? So when I get on that campus, I'm not, the first minute I'm declared after that third season to be into the draft, I'm gone, okay? And I think it speaks for a lot of us brothers that are motivated behind the money. So he says, what's the process of how you get an agent? Sometimes people know an agent before you get to your damn first year in school, okay, which I didn't. So my thing is, how do you get an agent? It's the same protocol that a buddy system that's getting ready to leave before you. You're going to talk to his agent, man. His agent's going to be around that campus. Somebody's going to be around. You see what I'm saying? Where as long as no money is exchanged, okay? So it's not hard finding an agent. All it is finding somebody to pump your head up and tell you the greatest thing since sliced bread or whatever. Again, it's capitalization off of your lack of understanding of who you are as an individual to say that, hey, I have some self-worth. I know now I need your help. We can go hand in hand on it. But how do I meet an agent? It's just through, like I said, it's not hard to meet.
Okay, so another question for the people. And this isn't scripted or anything. So
no, it ain't scripted. We talk off the fly, man. And I was actually nervous because I don't do this. And my man here, you know what I mean? This is thing I've been watching him online, but if I'm going to interact with people and come out of, I don't have a shell, but I mean to be heard and let some of this, what we call underground speaking, and it can become teaching if some of these people open their ears and listen before they become locker room lawyers and always want to talk about something that they don't understand. But here you have it from two guys here that can tell you thoroughly. And we don't have to have all the bells and the whistles and everything that are enticing to the young folks' eyes, which I was. See what I mean? So we don't want to hear those things. We don't want to hear those stories when you've been down and out. But, you know, we all want to hear the glory stories. But you need to hear, like my man said, the pathway. The pathway. What path did you take? How did you get there? Why was you going there? What motivated you? And what did you get out of it when you got there? And what do you have now from it? That's the question. And that's what the children need to understand. Now, you know, did I have anybody to explain that to me? Hell no. Everybody told me the way was how good I was and how great I was. And so I walked around with that identity for 30-something years, man. I mean, think about it. You have this shell on you for all these years, and that's the effect that athletes have when they leave the sport and have to come into the real world now of the programming itself of who that identity was. You're not a football player, like I said all the time. You're not a boxer. You're not any of those things. Who are you? When have you ever taken time to sit back and look and find out who you were without any of those labels? And that a lot of times destroys us because we don't have those same people patting us on our back, telling us who we are again, only for their benefits. Had nothing to do with our benefits. But the second generation of this here, my kids, your kids, you know what I mean? The people that are listening, kids, that's when the change should be. You know, you see what I mean? Because we know now. And it's nothing against agents. It's nothing against NFL football. It's nothing against it. People excel off of lack of knowledge. So here you have the knowledge that we're going to be putting forth to you. And you have a choice. Just like God gives us all a choice. I'm not going to make you do nothing. You have a choice. So you have a choice to play football. You know the repercussions from it. You understand the hidden mysteries and all these things that are, you know, out there, if it is, or if they say they're not. But we're just going to give you the truth. I don't have nothing against them. I'm going to give you the truth because if I was given the truth, damn right I still would have played football, but I would have had more understanding of what I was going through and where I was going. You know what I mean?
And speaking of where you were going, how did you get to the Cincinnati Bengals?
How did I get to the Cincinnati Bengals? It was out of my control. I got drafted, but hey, man, I was thankful to get drafted.
So you say it was out of your control?
It was out of my control. It's not in my control.
So now I'm doing two things here because when we just had the draft like last month, and all you hear a lot of the times is, it's this person's resume. It's the resume. It's the resume.
It's the resume.
And they use these words like it's the same as the other jobs. So it makes the fans and it makes a lot of people look at stuff like all the rules are all the same. But most other people are getting to go apply for where they want to go work at. Exactly. If that's your resume, right? So the resume is the body of work that you did on the field. Because that's the game. The game is on the field, right? And the business is everything else in between the game day, right? So that's the difference. When you're a college student, you're going to class. And then your job of playing the game on the field that's a total separate thing. In the pros, you get paid to play the game. Those salaries that they announce on TV, people don't understand that you're not getting those checks in camp, right? Did you get those those checks in preseason?
What check? A preseason check? We get a check for preseason for practicing in the pros.
But that's not
in the pros.
It's not the amount that the salary checks are. Right?
Oh hell no, you know that. No, that's just
we know that, but. Those are the hidden things that make people look at it. They hear it and it looks like it's the same, but they don't know the hidden things that make it be totally different. So when the players speak on the things to give knowledge, not being disgruntled or anything, just to give knowledge like, hey, No one's teaching you this. You can't. There is no class for this on purpose.
No.
So